Imagine surviving the impossible. Now imagine surviving it for 44 days, alone, terrified, and begging for anyone to save you. A schoolgirl in Tokyo did. Or at least, she tried. She screamed loud enough for neighbors to hear. She escaped once, only to be dragged back inside. Police even came to the door, and left without checking. This is the Japanese crime case that still shocks the world. The schoolgirl murder still whispered about in Tokyo. Her name was Junko Furuta, and her story will make you question how such evil could exist behind the walls of an ordinary home. Before everything collapsed, Junko Furuta was just a typical 16-year-old, quiet, hardworking with simple dreams. She wanted to graduate, find a stable job, maybe work in retail or electronics. Friends described her as gentle and cautious, avoiding trouble, avoiding people with bad reputations, including one boy who would later decide to destroy her life. Hiroshi Miyano, a 17-year-old delinquent with Yakuza connections, once asked her out. She politely refused. To a normal person it's nothing. To Miyano, it was humiliation. A humiliation he planned to repay. And on November 25, 1988, he got his chance. Miyano spotted Junko walking home, just minutes from safety. He told his friend to pretend to be injured, to ask for help. Junko, being kind, stopped without hesitation. That was all Miyano needed. Within seconds the trap snapped shut. She was attacked, threatened, and forced into a house owned by one of the boy's parents. A house that would become her prison. What happened inside that home is so brutal that even Japanese media struggles to describe it. Junko was kept captive for 44 days. 44 days of escalating torture. She was beaten with metal objects, burned with cigarettes, humiliated for entertainment, starved and dehydrated until her body began to shut down. Neighbors heard noises, but assumed it was teenagers being loud. The criminal's parents lived downstairs, but fear kept them silent. Once Junko escaped, a witness saw her and called the police. Officers came to the door, knocked, and the boys casually said, "No girl here." The officers left, and Junko suffered horribly for that attempt. Investigators would later call it the most sadistic schoolgirl murder in Japanese history. Japan prides itself on safety, but this case exposed cracks that shocked the nation. Youth gangs, weak juvenile laws, police hesitation, and a society afraid to confront teenagers with criminal connections. Junko was failed at every stage, by neighbors, police, even the adults inside the house. Her torture wasn't only the work of 4 boys, it was also the work of silence. By day 44, Junko could barely move. Her injuries were catastrophic, yet the abuse continued. The boys complained she was no longer fun. Their cruelty escalated. On January 4, 1989, after hours of assault, Junko's body finally gave out. The boys panicked. They wrapped her in blankets, stuffed her into a concrete-filled drum, and dumped her in an industrial area. They thought the world would never find her, but they were wrong. Weeks later, one of the boys was arrested for another assault. During interrogation, a detective tried a simple bluff. "We know you killed that girl." In reality, they knew nothing. But the bluff worked. The boy panicked, confessed everything, and led police to the concrete drum. Inside was the body of Junko Furuta. Japan was shaken to its core. You might expect life sentences. You might expect justice. But Japan's juvenile laws protected the criminals. The ringleader, Miyano, 20 years. The others, between 5 and 9 years. That was all. Public anger exploded. Victims' rights groups protested. And many demanded reforms to Japan's legal system. To this day, people believe Junko never got true justice. Even worse, several of the boys reoffended after release. Their names, once protected, were leaked by journalists and spread across the world. The story of Junko Furuta is one of the darkest in Japan's history, but by telling it, we refuse to let it fade into silence. If you want more deep dives into true crime cases that change the world, like, subscribe, and tell me which story to cover next. Stay safe, and thank you for watching.